Alright, so in this video, I'm going to be talking a little bit more about the Mark Harley drama because it looks like Brendan Schaub is now kind of getting dragged into that. And then also I'm going to be talking about Brian Callen. It looks like he might be leaving the Fighter and the Kid podcast to go work with Steven Crowder. So right when I thought things were starting to go well for Brendan, of course it all just comes crashing down. And the Mark Harley stuff, it backfired. Originally, I thought it would be good for Brendan since Mark got exposed himself and now people have turned on him and nobody really wants to hear what he has to say. But this story has turned into something a lot bigger than I expected. I thought this was just going to be something being talked about in the Fighter and the Kid subreddit, but now it's not even really being talked about on there. This topic's pretty much banned, but it's being talked about pretty much everywhere else on the internet. Everybody's sharing that clip of Mark trying to lift his wife's car up to prevent her from leaving. On Reddit, people have been posting it, and it's got a lot of traction on there. And of course, in the comments, people are mentioning Brendan. Somebody posted this to There Was an Attempt subreddit, and it's got 50,000 upvotes. And one of the top comments says, "Isn't that the dude from The Fighter and the Kid?" And somebody commented on that. They said, "Associated with Brendan Schaub, Chris D'Elia, and that other clown. Not surprised by this behavior." And then it was also posted to the Public Freakout subreddit, and they titled it "Actor and Brendan Schaub podcast co-host deadlifts and kicks wife's car." So Brendan's name is in the title, and you don't even see Mark's name anywhere. I think Brendan's more associated with this than Mark is at this point, probably because nobody knows who Mark is. And also I'm sure this is somebody from the Fighter and the Kid subreddit who posted this. And also I saw this clip is all over Twitter. It's crazy how much this is blown up. Fight Haven, that Twitter account, posted it. They titled it "Brendan Schaub's co-host Mark Harley attacks his wife's car when she tries to leave him for domestic abuse." So at least Mark's name is attached to this, but of course Brendan's right there with him. And then I saw somebody else posted this, and it's got probably 1 million views at this point. This tweet blew up, and at least Brendan's name isn't in the title. They titled it "Mark Harley violently attacks and tries to keep his wife, Luana, from leaving." And a lot of people are defending her in the comments, and they feel bad for her. But also a lot of people are like, "Who is Mark Harley? I've never heard of this guy." And then I'm sure people are responding like, "Oh, he worked with Brendan Schaub, that's how we know him." And then I saw Mark in the comments trying to defend himself, and it is not going very well because it seems like his defense for everything is like, "Oh, well, I was doing that to her because she was doing the same thing to me." Like with the whole cheating thing, he thought the Fight in the Kids subreddit would be on his side, so he went there to try to expose her for cheating as well. But people are just like, "Dude, we want nothing to do with this. Like, you're both toxic as hell. You guys figure it out on your own. We're not going to try to defend you." So his response to that whole car thing, like the reason he's lifting up the car and kicking it is because she had his keys or something like that. She wouldn't let him inside the house. So now Mark's trying to expose her for being toxic. But I think it's only making things look worse because he's on Twitter arguing with random people, and then he's DMing them videos of their relationship, like all the toxic moments when they're fighting and everything. I guess whenever they would start to argue, he would record it because he didn't want her to accuse him of doing something he didn't actually do. But I don't know. I don't think it's really helping at all. And it just seems like a desperate attempt from him. Without the Fighter and the Kid subreddit on his side, he just doesn't know what to do. Like DMing random people that already hate you on Twitter, it's not going to do anything. And some of these videos are wild. I don't know what to make of this. Like, they both just seem insanely toxic and really bad for each other. Like, check out this clip right here. I think he's trying to post these clips to the Fighter and the Kid subreddit, but he's pretty much banned from there. So his next best option is just DMing them to random people on Twitter. And right here, this video, I guess she just hit him in the head with a frying pan because he killed her cat.
What you did.
You hit me with a frying pan.
Yes, I did, because you killed my cat after years of abusing me. You
Totally.
killed my cat.
You just hit me with
Right.
a frying pan.
Yeah, and
What did you do to
assaulted
me on my head?
No. Then you told me
Yeah,
to do
totally.
that.
You just jumped on my back, choked me, hit me in the head multiple times. Why don't you do it for the camera?
Yeah?
Why don't you do it for the camera?
What do you want to do, Mark? Ruin more of my life?
So I don't know what to make of this. She seems pretty crazy as well if she really just hit him in the head with a frying pan. But I think both of these two are just insanely toxic and they need to get a divorce and get as far away from each other as possible. And I actually saw his wife commented on one of the posts on Reddit of him trying to lift the car, and her name on there is still Mark Harley Fan Club. I guess she couldn't change it. But she said, "I'm his soon-to-be ex-wife. This is the video I shared on my IG, laying everything out he's been doing to me. Not for clout. I had a private IG. I have a career. I'm doing this because I need to stop the circle of abuse. He's an influencer with a platform of young men that look up to him and shouldn't. His side chick has already been manipulated so much already, and I can't let this happen to anybody else. He's dangerous." And then the first comment said, "I highly doubt anybody in the world looks up to BGL." And that's true. I saw a lot of people saying like, "Oh, his career's over. He's done." What was he doing to begin with? Like, he never really had a career, and I don't know who was like looking up to him. I think he was like shooting some TikToks or something, But that's basically it. This guy had nothing really going on. He's known as Brendan Schaub's handler. That's how people describe him. So I don't know where things are going to go from here with all that. I don't know if I'll cover it anymore. I don't know if it's worth it because I don't even know what's going on here. It's just way too toxic. And I don't think anybody's in the right here. I think they're both pretty bad. Obviously, Mark looks a lot worse because he's a giant dude and there's that video of him kicking her car and stuff. That looks pretty bad. And his defense for it is really bad. But I wonder if Brendan's going to talk about this at all. Maybe this will bring Brendan and Mark back together. That'd be hilarious. But, Brendan, he is being roped into this, so he might talk about it. I'm sure he doesn't want to, but a lot of people are throwing his name around. We'll see. And also with the Brian Callen stuff, it looks like he's leaving the podcast. So this is a rough week for Brendan, which is hilarious because just in my last video, I'm like, oh, things are going well for him. He had a good weekend. The fight in the kids subreddit, they were having some trouble over there. Starting to implode. Everyone's arguing with each other on what to do with this situation. And then also one of the top posters over there embarrassed himself. And then Mark Harley, him getting exposed and everybody talking about this situation. He's obviously done. Nobody's going to listen to him anymore. But now that's kind of backfiring on Brendan because he's just getting dragged into this and his name's being thrown around and he's looking pretty bad here, even though he didn't really have the best reputation to begin with. So I don't know if this is really going to affect him at all. But also if Brian Callen's really leaving the podcast, that's going to be a big hit for Brendan if he has to end it. I'm sure that's where he's making a good amount of his money and he's already struggling to begin with. So he's barely hanging on. If he has to end the fight in the kid, I don't know what's going to happen. Or maybe he'll just move to Texas. I feel like that's a very good possibility. He just moves there with Brian. If Brian's moving there, I'd imagine he is. So I wouldn't be surprised if Brendan moves to Texas. He's got to do something. Like, it's not going well for him in LA. All right, so that's about it for this video. Thanks for watching. Make sure you check out my Patreon. I have a bunch of good videos up there that I'm sure you'll enjoy if you enjoy this channel. So check that out. And then make sure you leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about all this. Then hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll catch you at the next video.